Welcome to ETV Bharat. This is Casmin Fernandez. We have here with us Amla Ashok Ruya. She is known as the Water Mother of India, and her work has impacted 1270 villages, in providing water access to them. And her trust called Akar Charitable Trust has impacted the lives of lakhs and lakhs of people across India. So ma'am, congratulations on winning the award, and what inspired you to work in the area of water conservation?
Thank you so much. I'm greatly honored to be here and to receive this award of excellence at the hands of your esteemed organization, the Ramoji Trust. Actually, it was a very small incident. The TV was showing the images of the famine stricken in Rajasthan. At that time, Rajasthan was reeling under the throes of a severe famine.
Okay.
And just looking at what misery my rural brothers and sisters have to go through, it reached my heart like a bullet. And at that instant, I made up my mind that I cannot allow my rural brothers and sisters to live or to repeatedly go through this kind of misery.
And this was in the 1990s?
1998. That year was a severe famine. Our family had already started sending lorries of food and tankers of water to the affected villages. But to my mind, this was not the solution that could cure the syndrome of droughts and famines, which repeatedly plagued
This was just a
many
band-aid.
parts of
The providing relief is just a band-aid.
just a band-aid.
What
What would they do after that? After that 1 week where they are given the food, what will happen to them? The problem was so immense, and I was a lone housewife, and I just didn't think about anything. I knew that if there is a problem, there is bound to be a solution.
Right.
And taking a cue from our own cultural heritage, which says, "Yahi hai wo dharti, jahan हमने मिलकर जल की व्यवस्था खुद ही संभाली, न संस्था पे छोड़ी, न सरकार पे डाली, सलिल की सुनीतियाँ खुद ही बना ली." I just decided that I must go and in search of such kind of solutions, and I'm sure that I will find one.
So you managed to educate yourself about water conservation. Before that, you had no experience in the field.
I am not educated in social sciences or anything like that. It was the passion and it was the pain which I was feeling in my heart.
Amazing.
And I was not willing to stop at anything. So I went from place to place in search of such, and somebody told me that there is one person who is doing this kind of work in Rajasthan. Tried to reach out to him, and then I visited some of his sites.
Okay.
And at last I came upon certain water harvesting structures which had the capacity to give a new lease of life to our brothers and sisters who were living in such abject poverty in the rural areas.
You've also mentioned somewhere that you went down a well
Yes.
with a group of women from Rajasthan. What was
Yes.
that experience about?
As I was telling you, I was searching for some solutions, and that year Pali district had not received a drop of rain. And I went over there to see what the situation was like. And I came upon this bunch of ladies who were going down a step well. Each one of them had 2 pitchers, and they were going down to fill the pitchers with water and carry that water back home. So as I went down, I saw that they had filled both the pitchers, and now the water had sunk really low.
Yes.
And they were carrying those pitchers up all those steps. And I said, let me try to hold this pitcher for at least a minute. So I asked one lady, can I hold it for you for 1 minute? But when she handed me that pitcher, I was not able to hold it for 15 seconds.
Was it that heavy?
It was so heavy. And I had always been sort of maintaining my health and fitness. So in that split second, my delusion about my own fitness went to dogs. And I said, my God, I cannot allow my sisters to repeatedly dedicate their whole life to bringing water for their household needs.
Yeah.
What would happen to their bodies? What would happen to their skeletal systems? And then what is the life of these ladies? That they would go twice a day to fetch the water, carrying only that much as
the pitcher would allow.
As the pitcher would allow, 2 pitchers at a time, and then come back again in the evening with the same, and hand over this drudgery to the next generation of women. So how could this, we have allowed our annadatas, the farmers, the people who are taking care of the farmland and producing grain for us, they are our annadatas.
Yes.
And we have allowed them to live like this. In those villages, people were not ready to give their daughters in marriage.
Why is that?
Because what would their life be? They would only be carrying these heavy pitchers back and forth twice a day.
Oh my God. And then working at home also and raising children. And cooking.
Raising children, and the female offspring. As soon as she was able to do a little bit of household chore, she was put in the kitchen because the mother was out there fetching the water. Is this any kind of life? The female child who should have been going to school in these formative years were now restricted to the home and the kitchen.
How did you actually begin the work? Because you started educating yourself, you met other people who were in the same line, and there must have been many challenges also along the way.
Yes, I remember, the first check dam which I built, that was in Mandavra village in Udaipur Wadi Tehsil, Jhunjhunu district. I'll tell you about this first check dam where I built it and how the whole face of that village got transformed. So you will get an idea, how this work impacts the lives of the people wherever we have put it up. And now, by now, we have already done 825 check dams and 555 ponds.
Wow.
But let me first come to this first check dam. The villages were completely denuded. All the able-bodied had already departed to urban areas in search of livelihood. Their fields were parched, their ground was absolutely denuded and degraded. Their economies were down to the abject poverty. They were living in abject poverty. Their wells had no water and they had no dreams by which they could live. Akar Charitable Trust had come over there and we were asking, what do you think can solve your problems? The women came together in a lot because Rajasthan knows the importance of water. And the women said, "Aap hamare liye ek water harvesting structure bana dijiye." And we were just waiting to hear that from them. At that time, Akar Charitable Trust was just a team of 2. But we said, we will stand solidly behind you with all the money that you require and we will shoot out all the problems that come in the way.
Fundraising also must have been a hurdle initially.
So at that time, it was my own family's funds that I was going to use for the first check dams. And at that time, this was in the year 2006. So things were not that expensive also.
Yes.
I remember the very first day when the work started, the temperatures in that area had reached 45 degrees. The whole atmosphere was dust laden, but there was a ray of hope in the hearts of the people. My workforce consisted of all the women of the village with their children lending them a helping hand and a few aged and infirm people that were still residing in the village, because they had not gone in search of livelihood.
It's so interesting that the ones left behind were the ones who built it up again, who built up the village again.
Yes. So you see, since the idea came from them, there were not that many hurdles except the practical hurdles, and to convince them to provide 1/3 of the expense of the check dam, because that is how we work. That is our principle and policy. because we want to make the work sustainable.
Right.
So how do our field workers get them to contribute so much when their own purses are absolutely empty?
Right. How did you manage
So
that?
first of all, the words that they speak, I will say those words. So I mean the sentiment that they expressed through the words, not that they sang poems to them. They had to convince them at the level of the heart. So they say, लो हाथों में हाथ लो, एक दूजे का साथ दो, इस धरती का सोया भाग्य जगाएंगे, मरुधरा को फिर से स्वर्ग बनाएंगे. ढूंढ सको तो इस माटी में सोना है, हिम्मत का हथियार नहीं बस खोना है. इस जीवन को साज दो, मौन नहीं आवाज दो, सन्नाटों के हम सरगम बन जाएंगे, मरुधरा को फिर से स्वर्ग बनाएंगे. Marudhara means desert.
Marudhara. And where is this poem from?
So this poem has not been written by me. This poem belonged to those people whose work I had gone to see. You know,
It's actually a folk poem.
This is not a folk poem. It is a very literary piece of poem. It is not a folk poem. But I liked these words and so I have adopted them.
Yes.
But subsequently, I have written 60 Jal Ke Geet.
Wow.
Because I was so touched to the bottom of my heart, and I wanted to actually do labor work with them, because I thought that if I really put my body through that kind of rigor,
yes,
then the kind of words which will come out will be reflecting the truth of their situation.
Jal poems.
Yes.
Are you planning to publish a book on them as well?
Yes, very shortly, within 2 months, this book will be ready. I have set it all to music and they are on very lively tunes. I want our school children to dance on them because they have all the philosophy of water in those poems.
So they can be performed as well.
So they can be performed instead of only performing to Bollywood. They will have an option to take them a little higher in their thinking and in their ethics about water.
And your work has also gone beyond Rajasthan now. It's gone
Yes.
to 12 states.
Yes, it has. We are now operating in 11 states. But let me complete the rest of this.
Yes.
On that first day, how the check dam got built, So there was this workforce and they were working hectically. Every day so many problems would be shooted out by our karyakartas, They would be at it at the end of 2 months of very hard labor. We had provided all the cement, or the stones were provided by the villagers. At that time, we had not started using heavy machinery. So all the digging of the foundation and everything was done by the people over there.
It was all done manually.
Manually it was done on that first check dam. Afterwards we started using JCP and now the work has become much simpler and easier for us to execute. But in that first year. Then we also added one more component to our work. We said that we are willing to do this work if you give up your tobacco, alcohol, dowry and Mrityu Bhoj. Why we added this component?
What is Mrityu Bhoj?
There is a funeral feast. This tradition has been going on, especially in Rajasthan, for a very long time. And to execute this funeral feast, they invite hundreds of villagers and they have to mortgage their lands and they never get out of that debt.
Just for a feast they mortgage their lands?
Yeah, because they don't have any money. So what will the lender take as collateral?
So it's a counterproductive feast.
We tell them on any auspicious day, you gather 3-4 villages and you tell them that we must give up this idea of funeral feast. We should call only 4 Brahmans and we should feed them. There's no need for you to feed these 300, 400 people like this. So many villages accepted. Of course, we cannot impose ourselves,
right,
but we have to suggest to them, we want to do that work of water, but we want to eradicate the social evil side by side. So we are not very strict, but appeal to them that unless you do this thing, once you get the prosperity, water comes, it will bring
Yes.
the crops, you will have everything that you require for a prosperous household. But if you haven't got out of your addictions, then most of your prosperity will be sucked away by these evils.
So how honest are the villagers when it comes to following this?
What we have observed, the younger generation gives it up because they are not so highly addicted to it. But the elders may not want to give it up, and so they are allowed to practice on the sly. That's how. So, you know, the first day, after 2 months, the check dam got completed, and that year, Indradev, you know, he just poured his bounty over that piece of land.
Amazing.
And the whole land was completely filled with water, the whole ground where the check dam had been made.
Yes.
And they had never even seen such abundance of water in their barren village. So then you could feel the smile and the, you know, that the joy in their hearts come out in these kind of words. क्या ये मुझे होने लगा, ऐसा ये जल जो दिखा, सूखी माटी जल से पटी, सारा ये रोग मिटा, सूखे का कष्ट हटा, कैसा ये जादू घटा, कैसा ये जादू घटा.
I can just keep listening to you, you know, recite these poems more and more.
And then another miracle happened. All the people that had left their villages and gone away in search of livelihood now returned back.
Amazing.
You see, the reverse exodus happened. There they had been living.
And this happened over the years after you started working with
within
them?
the first few months. Within 1 year, they were free of debt. The first harvest that they did made them free of their debts.
So it's a complete transformation. It's not just about water access.
Yes, that's what I told you, that our work does not only impact the lives of people, it transforms it.
And how is the village now after all these years?
So, in the first year, they earned 2 crores of rupees. In the first year, their net income was 2 crores.
From farming?
From farming, then they got lot of fodder. So now they have 5 or 6 cattle head tied to each doorstep. The income of which they get out of cattle rearing comes directly in the hands of the woman who makes the house shine and fulfills all her basic needs.
This is also women empowerment on another level.
Women empowerment on another level. They now no longer have to go in search of water carrying those heavy vessels. Their female offspring is going to school with her brothers.
Education again in Rajasthan, girl child education was also lacking severely in the past. So this is another great move.
Yes, 2-3 reasons for that. One thing is that they believe that the girl would get spoiled.
Yes.
Secondly, she had to remain in the house to do the household chores.
Yes.
So, but
and how did you convince them to send their daughters to school?
No, it happened automatically. I didn't have.
It's all a byproduct of this.
Yes. So now they have animal husbandry as a side vocation, but it sometimes supersedes the main vocation, that is farming. They earn more out of cattle rearing.
And that is unheard of in Rajasthan, no? In a place like Rajasthan, you wouldn't think cattle rearing is so rampant.
They always knew all these professions. They knew, and it just needed to be revived by the water coming to them. Now they have दूध दही की नदियाँ बह रही हैं, पानी की नदी बहती है और दूध दही की नदियाँ बहती हैं. और इमेजिन कि उनके दिल में क्या गुजरा होगा जब उन्होंने अपने बैरन विलेज में से एक नदी को बहते देखा. They have given birth to a river. Their barren village has given birth to a river. Now I'll tell you how this thing, the check dam is. It has all the advantages of a large check dam and none of its disadvantages, because this water stays on that ground for say 2 to 3 months. After in that much period, all the wells in their vicinity get recharged.
Okay.
Our ancestors were very wise people. They made hundreds of wells wherever they were doing farming. All those wells get recharged. Now they have water in their fields because of their ancestral wisdom, because they had so many wells. Now the water level has come up. See these, the conditions are very favorable in Rajasthan for well recharge.
Okay.
One thing is that the Rajasthan aquifers, that means pockets of loose stone and rubble inside the earth's surface.
Yes.
They are towards the surface and they are small in size. So what happens when it rains? These aquifers get completely filled with water. Underground rivers start flowing in their area. This stream which this village has given birth to, because the water has got filled to the top.
Yes.
And now it is overflowing from the wasteware.
This is something people don't talk about when they talk about Rajasthan's terrain.
Yes. Now I have done nothing actually. It is all the wisdom of our ancestors who had designed these kind of water harvesting structures. What does it consist of? It consists of a masonry wall which is called the head wall, 2 masonry side walls.
Yeah.
This masonry wall acts as a spillway. When on the leeward side water has got filled, on the windward side water has got filled up to the top, this allows the water to pass down and flow for at least 3-4 months.
Underground.
No, on
On
top.
the surface.
On top. Now what happens automatically by the capillary action of the soil, the aquifers are getting filled with water and underground rivers are simultaneously running.
Oh, interesting.
And when a layer of impervious rock comes to the top, springs happen in the path of the stream which has now started flowing. This is the way perennial rivers run.
So from completely arid regions, they've had perennial rivers now.
We have given birth to 175 streamlets, out of which some of course run for only 3-4 months, some go on till 8 or 9 months, and a few of them have become perennial. And last 2 years we have had abundant rain that has also helped the rivers to become abundant.
Amazing. And your work has expanded beyond Rajasthan also. You were talking
Yes,
about that
yes.
earlier. When did that expansion begin?
In the year say about 2012, our first check dam was built in 2006. And then subsequently we reached out to various other states, because I know every state goes through these kind of drought situations.
Yes.
So we did that. I'll
Even
tell
the
you,
states that flood also have regions which suffer from drought.
yes, because if you do not harvest rainwater, if you do not put it in pockets, then when there is no rain, what will happen?
Right. From 2012 onwards, you all have expanded to various other states.
Yes. So we have done a lot of work in Tikamgarh and Jhansi. Tikamgarh in Madhya Pradesh and Jhansi, which is in UP. This is the Bundelkhand area, which is highly water deficient. So there also we've done a lot of work. Then we have done extensive work in Bhuj area. We have done about 40-50 check dams, and we have also done umpteen ponds or talabs. And I am happy to say that we have now added ponds to the scope of our work. So the whole land of India is now our kshetra, so to speak.
Yes.
Earlier we were only concentrating on check dams, which could only be made in certain areas where the conditions were favorable. But ponds can be executed anywhere and everywhere.
Yes.
I am very happy to say that today Akar Charitable Trust has done 825 check dams and 494, 555 ponds,
Wow.
because of which the farmers are earning a net income of 3,425 crores year after year
In sum
in total.
Like beyond these figures and numbers, you know, how do you measure impact of your work?
I'll tell you, earlier the villagers were not able to support one bullock and they need two for their हल चलाने के लिए 2 बैल की ज़रूरत होती है.
Right.
तो they couldn't support two. तो अगर आज मैं अपना हल चला रहा हूँ तो मैं अपने नेबर से मांगूंगा और कल उसको करना. Now each one of the villages has at least 4 to 5 tractors. Each home has got at least 2 two-wheelers. All their children go to school, including the female offsprings. They are debt free. They have started ancillary industries in the areas where they live. The reverse exodus has happened. All their wells have got water in them. And if there is reasonable amount of rainfall for 3 or 4 years in any area, that village becomes drought proof. That means if for 2 years they do not receive any rainfall, their wells will hold enough water for them to continue life at their own normal pace, instead of those crops which require too much water. They will take something like chana, in English gram, which can take only one watering and it grows because of that.
So they can still grow crops as well at the same time.
Everything
Even if
will
it doesn't receive
continue.
water. It's amazing.
And this solution is a solution for droughts as well as for floods. Because if you have enough pockets on the surface of the earth, the water will not spill. It will be held in those pockets, and the flooding
so there will be no flooding also.
So this takes care of drought as well as flooding.
And as the Water Mother of India and Ramoji Excellence Awardee, what message would you like to give regular people out there?
Water is life, and unless we look upon it as the most precious ingredient or element that we have, we will not be able to, sustain life the way we want to live it today. So I would like to tell them, ये जिंदगी तो जल से है, जल स्वरूप मन हुआ, सबसे मिल तरल हुआ. ये जिंदगी हम जल को दें, उसे जुटाना सीख लें, कि बूंद बूंद जोड़कर सागर महा बना ही लें. जो कूप कूप भर गया तो खेत खेत खिल गया, जो खेत खेत खिल गया तो गांव गांव खुश हुआ, गांव गांव खुश हुआ.
Amazing. Thank you so much, ma'am. This is really amazing.
So this is my message to all people, who have really taken the trouble to find these people like us who are working very quietly into the interiors of India, just dedicated to working for the betterment of rural life, just to see the smiles on their faces. And I am very, very grateful that your esteemed organization has even taken the trouble to find people like us and to give us the award.
Of course, why not? Your work is so amazing and you're known as the Water Mother of India. How can it be ignored? You're a shining example of what people need to do.
I am a shining example of what a lowliest person can do, because I have no qualifications and no other this thing except the passion which carries me through in whatever I undertake.
And I hope that passion continues for years and decades. And thank you for joining us with ETV Bharat.
Thank you so much. And I would like to say that today our target is to do 300 water bodies year after year. and I don't think any other NGO has remotely reached this kind of a figure.
Yes, that's at
300
scale,
water
that's a big
bodies
number.
year after year to take care of the water situation or the scarcity situation and make India into a water surplus nation.
On that note, we shall end the interview. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.